Good morning. Let's go ahead and do our reading lesson today. We have a short reading lesson today. It seems like all of our reading lessons have been so short lately, but I'm just going in order, and that's what they are. Today's reading is a poem. You do not need your work text, and you will not have an assignment. It's just a short poem that we're going to talk about. So if you would turn in your book to page 370, and I think I have a vocabulary word. Just one. Well, she looks mad. It's the word rile. My brother always tries to rile me by calling me a tomboy. Rile. Do you ever rile your brother and sister? That means say something and kind of tease them a little bit when you know it's going to kind of make them a little mad. I used to do that to my sister all the time. Rile. Look at these plants. I don't know what those are. I'm not really good with plants. I don't have much of a green thumb. I love them. Ooh, aren't those pretty? See those? I think those maybe are tulips, maybe? I'm not real sure. Beautiful flowers. Do you like to take care of plants? I have a daughter that loved to take care of plants when she lived at home, and now she has quite a few of them. Then I have another daughter who never cared about plants, and now she's got a house full of them. So this poem we're going to read includes some unusual names for flowers. There's a foxglove, a rose, that's not really unusual, and a daisy that we're going to talk about. So let's listen to the poem. Now, as I read it, I want you to listen to learn unusual names for 3 everyday flowers, okay? And the everyday flowers was the rose, the foxglove, and the daisy. But there's going to be different words in here for those. It's called Uncommon Names. Aunt Murgatroyd is picky over what we call her plants. And though she's always fussing, she's the best of all our aunts. Don't call that yellow foxglove. It's Digitalis grandiflora. But, Auntie, I can't Faithawworth, says little Lindsay Laura. And this, says our Aunt Murgie, is a Rosa polyantha. It sure looks like a rose to me, says my sister Nell Samantha. And this one here, Aunt Murgie says, it's a fine Bellis perennis. It's not a daisy then, say I, her nephew Bradford Dennis. We do that just to rile her, use the wrong names for her flowers. For though she calls them all by name, she can't remember ours. That's a great poem, isn't it? Sometimes poets use rhyme to add humor to the poem. So in this poem, her name is Aunt Murgatroyd, which in itself is a funny name. And then the rest of the thing, they're calling her Aunt Murgie or Auntie or Auntie. My nieces and nephew call me Auntie. Maddie, quit doing that. And then she says, don't call it a foxglove. It's a Digitalis grandiflora. And then she says, this is a Rosa polyantha. It's not a rose. And then the Bellis perennis. Do you know what those are? Those are the scientific names for the flowers. And she calls them by the scientific name. And then her nieces and nephews call them by their common names, which is rose, foxglove, and daisy. Can you think of some words that rhyme with cantaloupe? Can you think of any? What about antelope? Antelope and cantaloupe? What about slope? See, it doesn't have to have the same amount of syllables. What about mope or nope or soap? Doesn't have to be spelled the same as long as it sounds the same. So what I wanted you to get from this is that rhyme doesn't always have to be exact. Each word doesn't have to be exactly. It just has to have the same sound, especially towards the end of the word. And poets often use that for humor. What about the word dandelion? Can you think of a word that would rhyme with dandelion? What about crime or flying? Dandelion, flying. Or lion. What about octopus? That one's kind of hard. Ominous, platypus, sort of. It's kind of hard to find words that rhyme with things like that, isn't it? All right. That was all of our lesson today. I love that poem, that uncommon name poem. That is a cute, cute poem. So that's all of our lessons. It was a very short lesson with a poem today, and there was no assignment to do with it, no work text pages or anything. Tomorrow we're actually going to be reading a story. You can read it tonight or today if you want to, but you're going to read it tomorrow. It's the next story. It's called A Tale of Chanticleer. It is a fantastic story. I love it. And it starts on page 372 and it goes all the way to 376. I'm not going to assign that to you, but it would be good if you wanted to go ahead and read that and get ahead on that, okay? All right, that's all for today.